The Vantage Aluminium Joinery New Zealand Rally Championship started back in April in Rally Otago. Chris West looked like he'd started the season on a high with a dominant performance on day one. On day two, he continued to win stages, led the rally, and then stumbled on the last corner of the last stage. Richard Mason came through a surprise day two winner, and Dean Sumner took out the rally win over the 2 days to lead the points going to Rally New Zealand. But Hayden Patton was back for Rally NZ, and all the other competitors saw over the weekend was his dust. Chris West finished second, but Dean Sumner finished third, so extended his points lead. In July, we headed north to Whangarei for more international action. Hayden Patton again showed that he's the form driver in New Zealand this year. Total domination over the weekend. But this time it was Emma Gilmore who finished second both days and staked her claim for the title, closing the gap to Dean Sumner to just 2 points. Round 4 at Nelson and Hayden Patton was gone off to Europe in the WRC, so Dean Sumner set about winning, pulling a massive lead over Richard Mason and Emma Gilmore. And on day 2, more of the same. As Gilmore's engine slowly expired, she could manage no better than 5th. Any challenge Chris West might have mounted was destroyed when he lost over a minute. Sumner again dominated and took a 29-point lead to the final at Wairarapa. Richard Mason was out of championship contention, but was hungry for a win and took out day 1 honours. But Sumner finished second and stretched his lead over Gilmore to 33 points with a day to go. So the day 2 battle is for the Rally Wairarapa title and a nervous day for Dean Sumner. And the weather was perfect for the start in Masterton for day 2, with the local Richard Mason looking for that perfect result.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good day today. We're really looking forward to it. The roads are pretty good today, and we're happy with how the car's feeling. So I think it'll be really good.
For Dean Sumner, it's a matter of finishing the day to finish champion.
If we don't finish and Emma finishes in the top 2, she can still take the title. But yeah, we'll just cruise through today. We definitely don't want to do anything silly, that's for sure. We can smell the champagne, but we can't taste it.
Emma Gilmore knew that the title was now an outside chance, but was still upbeat about her chances.
I suppose we're now looking forward towards the 2011 season, and we'll make progress with the car and try and use it as a bit of a test day.
The championship still is alive. I guess you can't concede that early because really your focus is try and win today.
Oh, absolutely, yep. But you know, to be fair, it'd be if Dean struck a problem that we'd have a chance of winning the championship, and that wouldn't really be a nice way to win the championship because Dean has done a good job the last couple of events, and I mean, like you say, anything can happen.
And Jeff Argyle had changed his gearbox overnight, was hoping to challenge Mason for the day win.
Yeah, we put a dog box in it now to try and get around the problems we're having with the clutch, and change the setup of the car a little bit. It's been a little bit tail happy, so we've put a cut in the rear tyres to try and straighten it up a little bit. So we'll see what we can do this morning. And for Chris West, the last day of the championship had become a bit like a lottery.
As we've seen in the last couple of events, anything can happen, and obviously we've just got to pick our game up and continue where we left off on League 1.
Just talking about day 1, really you were dominant. If it wasn't for stage 4, you probably would have won the day.
Yeah, hey, it's there's a lot of ifs and buts, and really today I just love to put down a solid day and come out with the result that we were all wanting.
So as Richard Mason leaves the start line, let's check out the stages with the Vantage Aluminium Joinery stage preview.
Sunday morning we start with the traditional Rally Wairarapa stage, Daggs Road. At 15 kilometres long, this stage has a bit of everything in it. Some really tight technical sections, and with a lot of thick gravel around, it's going to be a real challenge to start with. Following stage, Barton's Line, is another great Rally Wairarapa stage. It's a famous spectator junction in the middle where everyone always gets it a bit sideways. After the spectator point, things change from day 1, where we turn right over a narrow concrete bridge. We then have a very fast finish to the end of the stage.
Need a hug at 5 right minus.
Following stage is one of my favourite Rally Wairarapa stages, Central Mangone. At 15 kilometres long, the stage has a bit of everything in it. Fast and flowing start, tight, narrow section through the middle of the stage, to then have a very fast finish. Next stage after service is Quarry Cliffs Road. At 8 kilometres long, it's easy to overlook this stage, but this stage is actually very technical. Quite narrow, very cambered road with very thick gravel, makes it really tricky to drive. We then head back to a repeat of my favourite stage, Central Mangone. This stage has now had the whole field over it, so there should be a really swept, clean line there, which should offer a lot more grip. Next stage is Mangaranga, and at 15 kilometres long, this stage has a bit of everything in it. Starts off very fast before joining the end of day 1 stage, Barton's Line. Following stage, North Road, is a fantastic stage to finish on. Very fast and flowing with the technical tarmac section through the middle, this stage is a brilliant way to end the 2010 Vantage Aluminium Joinery New Zealand Rally Championship.
So it's back to the traditional Wairarapa stages for day 2, and as always we start with Daggs Road. Richard Mason first on the road.
2, 1, go, long four right opens.
And looking for a clean sweep of the rally, Roger Davis.
There's nothing new to Richard here. He's usually number 1 on the road. He certainly knows what to do. He's prepared his car well, and he's gone for those narrow Dunlop tyres.
But don't forget, day 1 was the first win for Mason since day 2 of Otago. Since then, it's been a season of problems. He can't win the championship, but he can win the rally.
6 right over, finish, 100.
No record today, 9:41.9. That's outside his record of 9:26.9, set back in 2006.
It felt good. There's quite a bit of gravel in there. We're a long way off the record, so whether or not we're actually a long way off the pace from where we were in the past, I don't know. But, you know, it did feel good in there.
There was a report of cattle on the road. You didn't see that?
Yeah, there was a couple of cattle on the side of the road. They're only little ones. I'm sure they won't do too big a dents.
Dean Sumner, second on the road on day 2. An amazing rally so far. He came here just having to finish both days, but once again, he's pushed hard and finished second on day 1.
Well, Dean's a totally different driver to what we've seen in the past. He's so committed, he's so focused. Well, there's those little cows that Richard was talking about. They are small, aren't they, Brownie?
Yes, he's focused on the cow's backside there.
But despite that, he looks absolutely relaxed, and that's been a feature of Dean Sumner this season as he comes down to the finish line.
Remember, he doesn't have to win the stage, just has to finish the rally to take out the title. Certainly going to be slower than Richard Mason. Down to the line, 9:54.9. Cruising to victory, perhaps.
Dean quite down on Richard.
Yep, we don't want to do anything silly today. I'm not taking any risks, and we just want to get to the finish.
Car feels okay?
Yeah, car's good. Yeah, I just want to ease into that one as well, and just as I said, you know, we're just concentrating on the championship.
Jeff Argyle has the new gearbox for today to try and avoid the effects of his recurring clutch problems. 9 minutes 53.9, so he lost time to Mason here.
Yeah, unfortunately we've gone with the wrong tyre in there. It's caught us out quite badly. I've made a total cock-up. I thought it'd be a bit more dry. There must have been quite a bit of rain overnight.
So that's going to be a problem for the next one as well?
Yeah, unfortunately it's just sitting on top and skating around.
Now, if Dean Sumner gets through the day without a problem, then he will claim the title. In fact, he would have to not finish, and Emma Gilmore would have to win the day for her to claim the championship victory. So that's a problem for her, Roger.
Yes, I think Emma has all but conceded to Dean, but she already has her eyes on next season, and a good finish here would be a great boost for her next season.
5 left plus 50.
Well, let's see what the early pace is going to be for Gilmore.
100.
Already slower than Mason time, and it's 9:50.4, 8.5 down on Mason. Now, Chris West, he would have won day 1 of the rally, except for that poor performance on stage 4, so can he challenge Richard today?
Well, if we go back over the records over the past 7 years, and Chris West and Richard Mason have had some fantastic battles. We have seen the rally results split by less than seconds, so it'd be great to see that today.
Westy going for glory on the final day of the 2010 Vantage Aluminium Joinery New Zealand Rally Championship. What's his time going to be? Looks fairly close.
6 right minus, opens 50.
It's certainly going to be close, Clint.
That split-second battle is on, 9:42.8, just a second behind Mason. Patrick Malley running 6th on the road. Normally this would be ideal position for him.
Well, if the road was dry, Patrick Malley probably would have won the stage, but you can see there it's a little bit wet, a little bit slushy, so as every car goes over, the conditions get worse.
So certainly not advantageous for him this morning. His time 9:55.8 for Patrick Malley. Glenn Smith just over a second faster than Malley, slotted into 5th place. In fact, 1.9 seconds separating 4th to 8th place. Glenn Inkster was caught out off the road on day 1 with that incredibly slippery stage 4, so no surprise that he took it easy through the stage to be 9th fastest and no mistakes.
6 right plus, 7 left 30.
Matt Jansen not taking any risks either in his Subaru, 10th fastest on the stage. 15 seconds off the pace set by the leader, Richard Mason.
Yeah, well, he's still only 3 seconds slower than Smith in 5th place, so all these drivers can challenge into the top 5. This could be the feature battle of the day.
50 to 3 left.
And Sloane Cox put his junior rally title aspirations back on track with 7th fastest. But a big gap in performance back to the next group, led by Dave Strong. He would finish the stage in 11th, but was 30 seconds down on Mason, 15 down on Jansen.
Right, 5 left, 6 left, long 4 left. 5 left, 6 left, long 4 left plus.
Well, that could be the reason why. There's no swept line here. That could be why these drivers are quite a bit down on the time.
4 right plus.
Stick around, coming up after the break. More stages before the service and some tricky moments in the Wairarapa. Welcome back. Stage 8, the second of the morning. Barton's line, but no records today as the stage was shortened to protect the new strip of tarmac at the start.
Go, 150.
Well, this is one of Richard Mason's favourite stages, and this stage will be the one that he'd probably target today to make an early break on the field. He's gone for the 195 Dunlop tyres, probably perfect for these slippery conditions with a bit of gravel on top. Well, looks like Richard's got a bit of a problem with the gear lever as he hooked it down to 2nd gear then.
Right, we're coming towards the tricky intersection where the crowd gathers. They come off the wet gravel onto the wet tarmac, and there's his split time, so keep an eye on that. Dean Sumner, can he improve on the stage, or is he just happy to cruise to become the champion?
5 left of a narrow wooden bridge, 120 onto tarmac, and 3 right, don't cut in junction. Go 100.
426.2, he's a second slower. Now, normally Jeff Argyle loves to slide the car around this corner, but after his tyre problems this morning, what's he going to do? Oh, he's a second quicker. And still sliding. Emma Gilmore keen to show that she can match Mason's pace on this stage. Both in Subarus, but her car built for the Asia Pacific Champs last season in New Zealand. Richard's car built in the UK for the PWRC. So quite a few different features on those cars.
120, get on with it. Go, 120, tarmac, turn 3 right, don't cut, set it up.
And looks like she has turned it up. She's the quickest. So Chris West could be in for a bit of a shot at the lead at the stage. He's 0.9 seconds down on the first stage when Mason seems to be losing time. What's Westy going to do with his split time then? Well, same as Mason, but he's slower than Gilmore. So Richard Mason has a challenge on his hands at this stage to try and be the local winner of the local rally once again.
And I'll tell you what, he'll be loving this as well. You can see he's trying pretty hard, and this is what produces a great performance. I think we're in for a great day today, Clint.
This is where the stage turns right, going left on day one, so off the swept road and back to the unswept roads, but certainly familiar territory for the Masons. 12:43.2. So that's the benchmark. Dean Sumner, of course, next through the stage. Every K he gets closer to becoming the New Zealand champion.
Well, I thought Dean was going to take it easy today, but he's certainly throwing that car around, so he's still trying, and that's important. He's still got to keep his pace up, because if you back off too much, you'll end up off the road. Coming down to the finish. Let's see how he goes, Clint.
Over finish, 180.
12:46.4, he's 3.2 seconds slower. Now, Jeff Argyle, considerably faster through the stage. He was 12:39.1, 4 seconds up on Mason.
Well, maybe that tyre choice wasn't as bad as Jeff originally thought.
Emma Gilmore, third fastest on stage 7. She'll have to be on Jeff Argyle's pace to hold that position.
100, hug 6
so
left.
there's the clock counting down for Emma Gilmore. Looks fairly good stage time for her. She's 12:42.9. Not good enough to stay ahead of Argyle, though. But this is the battle for the lead. Westy versus Mason. Looks like Mason lost time on the stage, as both Argyle and Gilmore have taken a little time out of him. And that's all it takes in the Vantage Aluminium Joinery New Zealand Rally Championship, where we measure success or failure in 1/100th of a second. Fantastic roads. Great concentration by the drivers, great determination.
He's on a charge here.
Yes, and he's quicker. A new rally leader in the Wairarapa. Not a good stage, though, for Glenn Smith. He dropped 4 places from 5th to 9th, 30 seconds off the pace. So that was good news for Patrick Malley. He moved his stage times up and moved up to 6th.
Well, Patrick Malley throwing the car around. In fact, he's becoming a spectator favourite with the way he drives his car. But he does actually look quite relaxed in that car, Clint, but you can see there a lot of steering movement.
Yes, he's working hard to make sure that he stays on the road. Like that. Glenn Inkster's time on this stage was just 12 minutes 56.5, so not a very fast time, nearly 10 seconds slower than Malley, 19 seconds down on the stage winner West. But while his progress may have been conservative, he was making up places. As other drivers slipped back, he would be 7th at the end of the stage.
6 left plus 30, braking, 3 left, opens long.
Sloane Cox wasn't that much slower through the stage, but it was such a tight battle that despite being only 4.8 seconds slower than Inky, he would drop to 8th overall. Matt Jansen held on to 10th, but was under a second behind Glenn Smith, so less than 20 seconds separating 8th to 10th. Better performance on stage 8 by Ben Jagger. He was behind Dave Strong after 7, but pushed harder on stage 8 to overtake Strong.
Well, good to see Ben getting back into the swing of things. He's really had a season that he wants to forget. He's quite often been off the road, so very important for him to stay on the road today.
And that screaming S2000 Fiesta of Dave Strong probably hasn't got the top end speed of the Group N cars, and that was sort of holding him back in the stage, but boy, it still sounds great.
Well, it sounds great from the outside, but we're about to listen on the inside here. It sounds fantastic in this car.
Long 6 left, puddle inside, 300 winding. 300 winding.
And after 2 stages, there was plenty of action in the other class battles. Once again, Regan Ross was the fastest 2-wheel drive and historic car in 15th overall. And in the other rally, the Malcolm Stewart Memorial Classic Rally over 2 days, he was 1.9 seconds ahead of Derek Asen, so no backing off. As he did on day 1, Ben Hunt was the early lead on the Fiesta Group N 2-wheel drive battle, just 10 seconds ahead of Stephen Barker after 2 stages. In fact, it looked like Barker was happy to protect his championship lead, not wanting to take too many risks today, and just concede the class victory to Hunt so he can take out the championship.
Well, he's in the same position as Dean Sumner. All he has to do is finish today, look at the big picture, and the championship's his.
And another familiar and fantastic stage in Rally Wairarapa, but I tell you what, plenty of water overnight could make things difficult today for some of the drivers. This is the stage that caught out Richard Mason in 2009. He ended up on the roof. What would happen this year?
Short 4 left plus cut.
Well, I'm sure that's in Richard's mind. But one of the big things with this rally is there's been a lot of water in this area in the last few days, and what a fantastic job the council have done and the rally organisers to make this rally happen. It's been a credit to them.
Yes, a lot of hard work goes on behind the scenes to make the championship happen for these behind the wheel.
Minus 150, caution finish.
Stage record set by Mason back in 2007, 8:26. But with the wet road, we're not going to be breaking that today. Down to the finish line, 8:44.9. Jeff Argyle was even faster through the stage, 8:42.4, so he closed in on Richard Mason. So with this put Chris West under more pressure in the lead. Would it be the stage that would suit the Flying Mitzi?
Well, I think the stage will probably suit both cars. The Subaru in the tight, twisty section and in the faster section like this here will suit Chris West. Let's see what the time's going to be in relation to Richard Mason coming down to the finish line. Can Westy hold on to his lead? Well, maybe there's problems again for Chris West, Clint.
Yeah, hang on. Could be the season of bad luck is about to strike again. Unbelievable. He's still quicker than Mason, though. But can he stay on the road? Emma Gilmore, Dean Sumner filled the next 2 places. Their stage times virtually tied, so no change in the championship stakes but a couple of big changes coming up.
Junction gravel 150.
Patrick Malley really starting to get into the groove in this stage. Just check out the pace over the tarmac part. Now onto the gravel.
6 left plus 300.
Well, the stage is just as fast here, so you must concentrate on this road.
Crescent Ridge 50. Inside.
Oh, what's friendly wave to a spectator? Was he hanging out his butt like Mark Tepper?
6 right plus
Oh,
50.
look at the visor's gone down for Malley. Oh, he's going to crash. Oh, can you believe it? It's a big one too. So let's take a look on the replay, Roger.
Well, we've seen moments through this season which are quite humorous, and I guess this one is as well, because Patrick comes in here and bang, down goes the visor. Now that would be the second biggest humorous thing in the championship this year. Probably the first one's got a lot to do with mud.
Yes, you got stuck in the mud, but I tell you what, he won't be laughing after that visor came down. There he is stuck into a lamppost. Looked more like the Stig. But the stage wasn't finished dealing a cruel hand. Dean Jagger was probably feeling pretty good about Rally Wairarapa. Day one had been trouble-free.
5 left minus in junction.
And on day two, he was heading into the top 10.
Left minus in junction gravel 150.
But he ended up heading into the ditch and out of the rally.
Damn it.
Well, Mum's obviously spoken, because there's no swearing coming out of that car now.
Yes, no Hell's Kitchen today, but gee, a hell of a finish for him. And guess what? But wait, there's more. More drama to come on this tricky stage.
5 left plus long, 5 right.
Oh, Dave's got it on the grass. Bang!
That was a big hit.
Yeah. Zeka.
So stage 9 turned out to be a real banger, heading to service at Ekatahuna. Westy out in front over Mason, then Argyle. Inkster and Cox in a close battle now for 6th. Ross leading the Classics and the Historics in 11th. Hunt best of the Flying Fiestas. And with stage 11 cancelled due to flooding, the service was extended to 1 hour and 15 minutes. Chris West's team were making a precautionary gear cable change.
Just had a small issue in that last stage with the gear cable and a misfire, which we're a wee bit uncertain on, but you know, the guys are working hard now to obviously resurrect the gear shift cable, and that'll fix one, and hopefully we'll get on top of the misfire.
And a tough morning too for Richard Mason, number 1 on the road, but hoping for more.
Yeah, Westy's going well this morning. It's nice to see my old mate Chris going well, and you know, we might be able to have one of our classic battles with him.
Could set it up this afternoon, because there's only 5 seconds between you.
Yeah, we've gone for a bit of a cut on the tyres. Hopefully we can sweep off on the first one after service. It's only short, but it's always got a heap of gravel on it. You know, if we can do well in there, we might be able to close the gap if we're lucky.
And hope too for Jeff Argyle, who's been pushing Westy and Mason.
We made a mistake when we came out this morning with the wrong tyres, but in between the first and second stage I softened it up a bit and let the pressures down, and that actually helped us.
10 seconds behind Chris West. Can you make that up this afternoon?
Oh yeah, if I get confident, yes, we definitely will.
All right, well, good luck.
Thank you.
Dean Sumner had one hand on the Champions Trophy and looked relaxed.
As I said before, you know, we're just really concentrating on the title. We've got to finish, and so that's what we're going out to do.
Looks like you backed off a little bit for today.
Yeah, everyone else is also going for it as well, because they've got nothing to lose and we've got everything to lose, so yeah, just got to play it smartly.
And for Emma Gilmore, well, a better day, but still some doubts over the performance of the car.
Yeah, we've had a solid start to the morning. It's actually been a bit frustrating, just not 100% sure what's wrong with the car. You know, we tried things last night. It was down on power, and we're driving very committed to try and carry as much speed as possible, but yeah, not 100% sure. We've got now quite a long service, and the car smells a lot of coolant, but don't really know what the problem is.
Talking about carrying a lot of speed, Regan Ross was showing no signs of backing off.
Yeah, it's pretty close. Had a bit of a bad tyre choice this morning and lost a bit of time to Derek in the Malcolm Stewart side of things, but we're still trucking ahead and still keeping going in the New Zealand Historic Championship, and yeah, Ron's still there. We keep looking back and he's still there, so he's got the pressure on as well.
He certainly is watching as well, and he knows that you're under pressure from Derek Ace and the Malcolm Stewart, because there's 5.2 seconds between you.
Yeah, it is. You know, we're not taking any risks, and you enjoy driving as fast as you can. That's why you spend all this bloody money to do it, you know. So that's a good thing, but it is in the back of my mind. But at the moment, we're having too much fun in the battle with Derek, really.
But as the cars left for stage 10, disaster for Chris West.
Unfortunately, it's something internal in the gearbox. It was the cause of the issue through the last stage. So unfortunately, with with road penalties, it's too big a buffer for us to do anything with today.
So more bad luck again for Westy, but after the break, more victims on a treacherous stage in Wairarapa. Welcome back to Rally Wairarapa, the final day of the Vantage Aluminium Joinery New Zealand Rally Championship in a real challenge. Stage 10, Quarry Cliff Road, another traditional stage for the rally. Mason has inherited the lead after Chris West's unlucky disaster, unable to start after the service. So it's the Masons out in front again on Rally Wairarapa.
Yes, well, Rich has now got a 10.7 second lead over Jeff Argyle, so he's going to have to keep the pace up.
Yes, plenty of pressure on Mason out in front in day 2 now. Remember, he's trying to emulate the victory he had on day 1, but still being chased down by Argyle, Gilmore and Sumner. This is the very popular spectator junction on the stage. The 3 minutes drive from the town of Ikitahuna. Plenty of support too for Mason, but looks like he's having to sweep some heavy gravel off the road.
And that's exactly why he's gone for the tyre cut this afternoon.
Don't go wide, hold on right. RD5 left cut, don't go wide.
Won't be a record-breaking pace today, 4:28.3. Now, this is the chance that Jeff Argyle's been hoping for all season to show that his older, more powerful open-class Mitsubishi Evo 8 does have a chance against the new Group N production cars.
Well, Jeff's gone for the medium tyre this afternoon, and plenty of cuts in them as well.
And it's worked too. He's quickest, 4:26, 3.1 now behind Mason. Changes at service 2 for Emma Gilmore. She puts thoughts of the championship behind her and concentrates on trying to catch Mason.
6 left, tightens hog 4 minus.
Well, Emma's never had a day win in the championship, and I guess today is an opportunity. She's on a perfectly swept road here, and looks like she's trying through this junction, Clint.
There she is. Well, on such a short stage, the top 10 will be split by just 10 seconds. Gilmore's time, 4:29.4, 3.4 slower than Argyle, but only 5th fastest. Dean Sumner continued to do what he had to do to claim the championship, driving at a pace to take no risks. Actually, he was 2nd fastest on the stage. That moved him up to 3rd overall, 8.2 seconds behind Gilmore, so still keeping up the pace to stay on the road. Inky and Sloane Cox were now in a close duel for 5th place, both wanting to finish the season on a high. I suppose for Inky, it's been a real learning curve too, Roger.
Yes, last year he drove the open 4-wheel drive car, this year in the Group N, and you've got to drive these cars totally different. You've got to be nice and smooth with this car as he comes down to the finish.
4:27.5, just 1.4 down on Argyle. A good showing too by Cox here. Remember, he's on to win the junior rally title this year, and to do that he needs to stay ahead of Stephen Barker in the Fiesta. Here he is, close to the back though.
Well, he doesn't have to do that. It might sound easy for him to get to the finish, but Sloane's had a few problems off the road this year, so he's got to keep it straight and tidy and just get those cuts right. Don't get too close to the bank, Sloane.
Good stage time too by Matt Jansen, 8th fastest through here, now 7th overall. Good to see the crowd out there too.
Yes, great to see that. Matt's really found some consistency today, and that could reward him later on.
To a 4 right minus. Into a long 3 left, tightens to a 2. Long 3 left, tightens to a 2. Into a 2 right, opens.
Well, this stage is very tricky, and we see Matt go around that corner, almost a slight mistake. Clint, they've got to be so careful through here.
Alex Kelsey produced top 10 times all morning, so he looked like having a better day. Day 1 had ended with a crash in the final stage, but day 2 looked like being his most competitive all season. 10th overall for Regan Ross. And what a crowd pleaser these historic trophy cars have been this season. Yes, it's all about the noise, isn't it? Making beautiful music, Roger. Now, the rally would return to Central Mangaoni stage, the scene of Patrick Malley's crash. Jeff Argyle was fastest on the stage in the morning. What would happen in the afternoon as a flying Mason attacked?
7 left minus.
Will he be faster this afternoon than what they did in the morning?
Well, judging by the way he took that junction, I think he'd be definitely faster. And the line is perfectly swept for him.
He is committed. 8:34.7, about 8 seconds quicker. Jeff Argyle should have been able to close the gap to Mason on the stage, but his turbo blew and he was forced out of the rally. So Emma Gilmore gifted a place and now in a strong position to challenge Mason for the lead. 3 stages to go. Could she do it?
Well, it's going to be hard work. She's just over 11 seconds behind Richard at the moment.
Great shots though. Emma Gilmore pushing hard. Remember Mason's time, 8:34.7.
Well, this is Emma's favourite stage in the rally, and she's really pushing through here, Clint.
What's her time going to be down to the finish line? Oh, she's a beauty, 8:32.9. She closes the gap to 9.5 seconds. But even with that performance, if Dean Sumner did fail to finish today, Gilmore would have to win the day to take the championship. Sumner didn't look like he was backing off at all as well.
No, he's got the race face back on, so Dean's certainly going to finish his championship on a high. He wants to win some stages here, I think, Clint.
I think the best way to win the title is to make sure you go fast, to stay on the road, you know, sort of just pull back and then you can run into some sort of problems.
Good time coming up.
8:32.3, he wins the stage. Champion drive. Glenn Inkster, on the other hand, was about to have an afternoon he'd rather forget.
Short, 6 straight plus 5 left, 30. 5 right opens long, 120.
Oh, Glenn's just turned in a fraction too early, and that's what happens.
Gee, we're talking about some bad luck for some of the drivers in the last day of the championship. Sloane Cox now up to 4th place, looked like having his best result of the season. Likewise, Matt Jansen now up to 5th, although 1 minute and 40 down on the leaders.
Well, we said earlier consistency would pay, and it certainly is with Matt Jansen.
120 to a 6 left, 100.
In fact, Matt Jansen and Sloane Cox are really doing well today, 4th and 5th overall at the moment.
And with Argyle out, Alex Kelsey now led the open class and was 6th overall. Regan Ross now 7th, still leading the historic challenge. His nearest competition, however, Shane Merlin in 9th. This was turning out to be Merlin's best performance all season after a troublesome day 1. He was only 44 seconds behind Ross. Ben Hunt continued to dominate the Fiesta class, now up to 10th place. But even though 2nd would be good enough for Barker to win the class title, he was keeping the pressure on Hunt and actually beat him on stage 12 to close the gap to just 12.5 seconds. So it's Mason the leader by just 9.5 seconds to Emma Gilmore now. Matt Jansen, Alex Kelsey will be wrapped to be 5th and 6th. Regan Ross 7th. Hunt leads the Fiestas. Glenn Smith fighting back to 13th. And then rain started falling as Mason arrived back for the final service.
We've just sort of been trying to balance the speed a bit this afternoon with the, you know, with the right amount to stay in front, but not pushing too hard to make any mistakes. Unfortunately, Westy is out and Jeff's out, so now it's Emma behind us, so we'll just keep an eye on it.
Yes, it's turned into a real bad luck crash fest, so what would Gilmore do?
Yeah, like we're driving really well, but just the car's down on power and it's just making it hard work. So hopefully we'll still get to the finish and yeah, we'll have a good result.
You're only 9.8 seconds behind Richard, though.
Yeah, we'll be trying. We're definitely trying. It's you know, it's not like we're not trying out there at the moment, but yeah, we'll go all out to the end of the season.
And what a great way for Matt Jansen to finish the season in the top 5 at the moment.
Yeah, we're much looking forward to having a good result finally. We've had some trouble today with a blown exhaust gasket and no turbo pressure for 2 stages. And we've managed to climb back up in the last 2 stages, so we're very happy.
Surprisingly short day today, really, but the reliability on a lot of the people has not been great.
Yeah, that's quite correct. And it is a short day, but there's a lot of corners out there to catch you out. It's quite a twisty technical rally. So we're quite glad to get through our bogey corner from last year and Quarry Cliff Road there. So we can now push on to the finish.
And still feeling cautious about getting to the finish, Sloane Cox.
Yeah, I just noticed it coming in service now. I was quite happy with where I am for the day. I see if I can keep it like that.
Well, that would almost be your best result, wouldn't it?
I'm pretty sure it would be if I finished 4th today. It'd be my best result in a leg.
If you can stay there as well, the junior title's yours.
Yeah, that's where I'm aiming for, so that's the main target, is to keep that junior so I can take that junior title out this year.
And just 2 stages before Sumner could join as co-driver, Paul Fallon as the champion.
Yeah. Just keep it nice and tidy now. Yep.
All right, good luck for the last two. A little bit nervous?
Yeah, a little bit, but I just want to I'm not going to do anything silly, so, you know, but I'm not going to really back off either, because I don't want to lose concentration, but we'll be all right. No pressure, really.
Stick around, coming up after the break. Rain on the roads of Wairarapa as the countdown begins to the new champion. Welcome back to the final day of the 2010 New Zealand Rally season. We've had 77 stages, 1,396 kilometres of special stages over 5 fantastic rallies. Now just 2 stages, 28 Ks and the run home to the finish. Will it be a happy last day to finish off the season for Richard and Sarah Mason?
He was almost down and out since the rally in New Zealand, but what a comeback on his home rally. And I'll tell you what, he's looking for a total clean sweep and he's bang on target this weekend.
Plenty of rain and plenty of pace too from Mason. The stage record is set by Glenn Easton back in 2009, 8:24 last year. Looks like Mason is going to get a bit of a crack at that today. Look at the time, down to the line, 8:15. He smashed the record. Emma Gilmore also under the record on the stage, but 2.5 seconds slower, so the gap to Mason now 12 seconds.
2, 1, go.
And how's that for a way to handle the pressure, Roger? He's got a smile on his dial as he pushes to become the New Zealand champion, Dean Sumner.
And he's been pushing all day. Good on you, Dean. Congratulations. You could have finished last today and still won the championship, but you've thrown the gauntlet down, you've tried, and I'll tell you what, you deserve the championship.
6.2 seconds down on Mason. That keeps him in 3rd place. Before we look at the rally winners, let's remember the great class battles that have been a feature of the championship. Jeff Argyle came to the rally as the open class leader, and with Marcus van Kleck not starting at Wairarapa, Argyle claimed that title on day 1. Matt Summerfield was crowned our Kiwi 2 champion at Nelson and didn't compete in the final round. Adam Fisher has proved you don't need a big budget to compete in the Historic Challenge. He would finish 4th, and co-driver Gilly Hudson 3rd in the Historic Challenge for 2010. He didn't have the pace of the Escorts, but Miles McElwain has been consistent in his Historic Challenge and would take 3rd place. He kept the pressure right on to the last stage of the season, but in the end, Ron Davey happy to concede victory in the Historic Challenge to Regan Ross. It's been a bit like the tortoise and the hare. Ross was so fast at times, but a crash at Nelson, mechanical problems at Rally New Zealand meant he had to race hard to the final stage. An enormously popular win too in the Historic Challenge to Regan Ross. We haven't seen much of Turbin and Lindsay Malley this season, but they've finished every round they've entered, and their reward, 3rd on the Fiestas. But the battle for the class lead has been a highlight of the season. Today, Nelson driver Ben Hunt would take out the class victory in this rally. But it was Stephen Barker. He rewarded his backers and the Rally of New Zealand board, who selected him as a scholarship winner with the Group N 2-wheel drive Fiesta title for 2010. Not only that, but he gave Sloane Cox a good run for the money in the junior title, despite being in a much less powerful car.
Well, it's great to see the money that the Rally New Zealand have invested in the scholarship has really worked. And I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to seeing Stephen Barker back in a 4-wheel drive car.
Sloane Cox has given his team and parents some anxious moments over the season, and he had a real scare again here on the last stage when he blew a turbo and was under pressure from Alex Kelsey.
6 left minus cut.
Eventually he would pull over and let Alex Kelsey pass.
Gravel 150.
And at 18 years of age, he would go on to become the New Zealand Junior Rally Champion for 2010. That problem for Sloane Cox saw Matt Jansen move to 4th place for day 2 and his best finish in a championship rally. Today was another successful day for Richard Mason. After such a difficult season, he had finally found the pace he'd been looking for in his new car.
Richard showed total commitment today. In fact, total commitment for the whole weekend. When he had problems early on at the front of the field, he never backed off. And Clint, I think this is a very deserved win.
Oh, it's great to have the big fella back, and of course alongside him his wife Sarah Mason. He sorted out the problems. It's a real learning year this year, and let's hope that it's going to carry that speed into next year.
Excellent. Well done, darling. Fantastic drive.
Thanks, sweetie.
Yes, good to see that Mason's finally regained his mojo.
A rally for a change. Woo! Woo!
Richard, well done. You won
Awesome.
day one, you won day two. Total clean sweep.
Woo! Oh, it's awesome, man. I mean, it's been so long since we've won a rally, and to get 2 days in a row is awesome. Just waiting for Dean to turn up. It's awesome that he's going to win the championship too.
And today was all about champions, and there could only be one. Emma Gilmore had been in championship contention until her car let her down in Nelson.
Emma's the #1 ranked female driver in the world, and this championship, she's never given up.
But this man was not going to be beaten. He had pushed hard at Nelson when he saw Gilmore's challenge start to crack. And over the 2 days of Rally Wairarapa, he kept the pace with the leaders, not taking a chance on anything, and has delivered his team and supporters the title of New Zealand Rally Champion.
6 plus. 120, starting with 6 plus, 120. 8 right, 100. And 7 left plus over finish, squiggles 350. Get it, man.
Yes, Dean Sumner does it. Takes out the Vantage Aluminium Joinery New Zealand Rally Championship. And a double alongside his champion co-driver, Paul Fallon. What a way to finish the season. Standing ovation from the crowd.
Yeah, that was the hardest stage I think I've ever done in my life, but man, she's been a team effort, I tell you. I've had a wicked team this year and excellent people helping me, and I had a lot of support. You know, ITM have been with me right from the start. There's Makita, Waddle, Marley, Jib, they've been with me and stuck with me, and this is a great way to repay them.
And you've got a very proud father over there as well. He's the one that started all this.
Say thank you to him now, because yeah, he owns the car and they've been with me right from day one as well, you know, obviously, and I wouldn't be able to do it without them.
Very popular winner, 2010 winner. What does it feel like?
Oh, we just can't describe it really. You don't really think it's real until it got here really. You know, we've still got to make it back to the finish yet as well, but it's awesome.
Well done.
Thank you.
Paul, your son's just won the New Zealand Championship. You're the person that started this by buying the car, getting him into sport. What does it feel like?
Oh, excellent, mate. Really is. Not only for Dean and Paul, but for everybody concerned. Sponsors, the team, yeah, absolutely brilliant.
You've been in with them virtually from the word go the whole time. From your point of view as well, must be satisfying.
Oh, extremely, mate, yeah. And it's nerve-wracking as well, you know. You're always waiting for them to come through on those stages, but no, very, very pleasing, mate.
So Richard Mason, day 1 and day 2 winner at Wairarapa, podiums for Gilmore and Sumner. But of course it's the points that count. 31 the final winning margin for Sumner over Gilmore. Mason overtakes West for third. Paul Fallon, of course, co-driver champion with a round to go. Group N two-wheel drive went to the wire with Barker 33 points over Hunt. Regan Ross takes the historic title and Rookie of the Year over Ron Davey. And Sloane Cox takes out the junior title with just 8 points over Stephen Barker. So what a great season we've had. Dean Sumner celebrates his first title as New Zealand Rally Champion. On behalf of Roger Davis and the rest of the team, I'm Clint Brown. We'll see you next year.